Oh, I was going to tell you about
What were you gonna tell me about, Mo?
this Izzy.
Oh, I love Izzy.
It's so good. It's just soda, but it's good.
It's sweet though. I've had the apple stuff. They gave that to me after every time I had a baby. That
Mm.
was they gave me that and with the meal, and I was like, so good.
Excuse me. I love the apple. I got apple, grapefruit,
Mm-hmm. What's else?
blackberry,
Oh,
and
blackberry,
clementine. My favorite is the clementine, y'all.
clementine.
That is good. Mm.
Do you
Okay.
like orange flavors?
I love the orange.
Really? We
Hmm.
watched the Great British Bake Off or Baking whatever show. Oh, you got your boobly,
You're
and
off
they always
camera.
trying to.
Is that intentional?
Oh no. Hi.
Hey,
Yeah, but they're
Wilkie.
always trying to add like orange flavors to stuff. I don't like orange stuff. Oh, okay. Mixology with Mo. She's mixing that Izzy into the bubbly,
Yeah.
blackberry into the lemon lime. Okay.
Swirl.
Okay. So how are you today?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm awake. I got energy. We're doing
Okay.
this, you know?
I forgot coffee, so I don't really have energy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
sad.
a,
That's I
I,
can't.
I'm running on adrenaline. My little kitty cat caught a mouse.
Oh no. You gotta sit with your feet up.
So I'm on alert. I'm
Oh,
on high alert.
high alert. Well, that's good. That's what you got kitty cats for. They
Yeah,
doing
he's
their
sitting right
job.
next to me. I didn't even know he was here. My little
Oh,
Tyrone.
little
My
type
Bookie. How
Tyrone.
you doing, girl?
I'm great. I just been reflecting on it's been like 3 years of this podcast.
Oh my gosh,
Can you
yeah.
believe that? I
No.
remember when we first started.
Yes. It was like the election or something.
Yeah, we were talking about that. It was right before January 6th happened. So it was like that holiday season or right before then. And I remember how green we were in the sense of like if you listen to like the first couple podcasts, we're like, hi, we were really like
I
doing
gotta
it.
take
Like
a listen. I
we
should have
weren't
listened.
talking like we talk. We were like, yes, and it was very proper and like, oh. And I would have these like lists of just stuff, questions and like just it was ridiculous.
Aw.
But we were cute. I feel like, oh, baby Mo and M.
I don't even remember. Is that sad? I think I don't remember until like lat 2021.
Mm,
The ones I remember.
yeah. No, I remember we talked about who we were in the intros. We talked about codependency
Oh
and
yeah.
big love, polyamory. Like we talked about
Oh,
some stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah. So it's crazy to think we've been doing this for 3 years,
It
recording,
is.
editing, putting things out. Um,
Time
deciding,
flies.
yeah, yeah. Just talking. I love it
Yeah.
though. I look forward to it. I look forward to our meetings and our recordings.
Yeah,
So
shooting the shit. I feel like we need to have a controversial one again. We
like
haven't had,
what? Hmm.
I don't know, we haven't had like a little fiery one in a
Yeah,
minute where we get
I
riled up.
know. I want it. I
Yeah,
want it.
get
What can we
riled
talk about?
up.
But I feel like we don't even get riled up. We're like, whatever.
Right.
We don't care
Right.
anymore.
At the point of apathy at this point.
Yeah,
But,
pretty much. Pretty much. I feel like we were when we began, it was like height of the pandemic, hopeful. Oh, the world is ours. We could do anything. What are your dreams? Like the outlook was positive.
yes.
Um, and now we're like, I'm alive today. I woke up. So
Right.
here we are.
How are you doing? I'm here. I'm alert.
I'm sitting upright.
Right.
Because sometimes we'd be laying down.
Oh, right. I
Yes.
was I was recording laying down at one point. That's just no discipline. That's a mess.
I mean, but you showed up. Okay. So let's take small victories. Showed
Exactly.
up, you know.
Accommodations.
So but what I mean, I don't know. I guess this episode is just like sharing our experience, what we've learned, maybe what we do differently. I don't know. I mean, do you have any outlook on that? Any insight? Anything you want to talk about with the podcast?
Yeah, I think it's been a good experience overall. The audience has changed, and that's been interesting to see.
Changed a
And
number or what?
just as far as
Stop.
even like the people watching, I'm like, do women even listen to the show at this point? I'm like,
Isn't
do they
that
even?
weird? Because we started off about like a journey through midlife. We were turning 40. We were
Yeah,
having these new revelations and things. And we thought we were doing this for other women. who were going through the same thing to create a community. And our audience is mostly male.
Yeah.
In our same age range, but male. And so I wonder if they're just trying to, I mean, I don't know. That's something that's been really interesting, because we tried to talk about who are we marketing to, who are we speaking to,
Yeah.
and I'm shocked. I'm
You
really
can't
shocked.
control that. Yeah, you can't really control it. So we put ourselves out there, and I think if I could do anything differently is maybe marketing more, like branding and marketing to cast a wide net to see who would take the bait. But that's really
Take the bait.
that's really, and maybe have more confidence to reach out to people. And that's something I still need to do, to reach out to people to guest on their podcast. I haven't really done that. That's something that a goal of mine is just to, because I noticed, for instance, I noticed when I send a text to someone asking if they want something, I'll say, let me know. So I've been trying to change my language because it's a fearful, the let me know is coming from a fearful place, like taking it personally. Like, it's okay for somebody to say no.
Yeah.
But so I think just reaching out to people and asking them if we can guest, and then if they can guest, and hey, the worst they can say is no. I might reach out to Amanda Sills, be like, you want to be on the podcast?
What did I see? I think it was a comedy special on Netflix. I think it was a comedy special on Netflix. This kind of referencing the worst they could say is no. And this guy was like, just ask the girl out if you like her or whatever. The worst she could say is no. And so he went and asked her out, and she was like, get the fuck away from me, you loser. Like, and she went off, and he's like, that's a lot worse than no.
Right?
Oh, I cracked up so hard on that. I think it was the Improv 60th
okay, I'll have
anniversary.
to watch that.
Yeah, you got to watch it. But yeah, it was funny. That is a lot worse than no. There are worse things, but no, I just that came to mind. Sorry. Ooh. I think one of the things, I guess, a takeaway from this experience has been when we first started, we did talk about it a little bit. I remember I was sitting at my dining table. We were on the phone trying to think of what we would call ourselves, and just the very beginnings of that. I remember that conversation with you. And I think that we didn't do a lot on the front end to plan it. We were like, oh, let's have a name, and then let's just start talking. You know what I mean? And which is great, because that's how we are. We just start talking. We talk. And I think we're entertaining. Enough people seem to think we're entertaining or worth listening to. But I feel like there's we just spoke about this, like the business side of it, the marketing, like you said, or like the just the business, the money side, like all of that. We just were like two friends who were like, we just want to talk, and if anybody wants to listen, that's cool. So I mean, maybe I would change that. We talk a little bit more, or like create a structure.
Yes.
But it's been, we're at 3 years. That's longer than most podcasts I've seen friends start and stuff. So that's pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I mean, it's syndication any moment now, any day now. We're going to get picked up.
Them checks gonna roll in. Let's see them checks rolling in, right?
Coming. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I think the hardest part though has been topics.
Yeah.
Finding things to talk about. Yeah.
Because we had gotten into that slump where we were just negativity.
Yes. And weren't you just saying, I want something to go off on? Let's find something.
Yeah.
Well, we were going off for a period.
Fiery debate, I think.
Yeah. We need a guest. We need somebody.
Controversial.
Maybe Breakfast Traditions can come back on.
Oh yeah, I'll ask.
Or somebody. We can get our friend from the IG Lives to come on.
Yeah.
If we're not blocked.
I'm
that
blocked.
could be tiring. But yeah, I don't know, podcasts.
One of the things I wish we would have done is plan like the YouTube stuff, because I feel like that's a big, once you have a certain 3 years, we probably would have met the minimum for the views,
right?
And could start getting monetization.
Yeah.
And that within YouTube is a chat room, and so they build communities. Like I mentioned before, I'm in a few YouTube communities, and they really do build a sense of community, and you can see your fans, you can interact with your listeners. And it seems overwhelming now. Like, I don't even know how to approach that. Besides, I think maybe just putting everything secondarily on there. like whatever we do on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram and podcasts,
all of that.
put it on there.
You know what? I think that's something that people entering this space don't, or at least we didn't think of in its entirety, is just the amount of self-promotion, the amount of posts you have to put on Instagram, the reels, the TikToks, the YouTubes, like just getting yourself out there. It's more than just a podcast. And I think we started with just a podcast and an Instagram. And I think there's so many places that you need to put your content to cast that wide net and get people, because not everybody's on Instagram. Not everybody likes to interface that way. Not everybody likes TikTok, so it's just in order to get to people and kind of, let them hear you. They may not like you, they may like you, but they can't like you if you're not in that space. And so it's just really hard. And that's so time consuming. Like I give so much respect to people, content creators, because it's not easy. I mean, it's like, oh, all you do is post videos on TikTok. That's hard.
Yeah.
Posting the videos, taking the time, editing that stuff, putting the right hashtags, getting the SEO together. Like that's hard. And at first I was like, these people, they ain't doing nothing. But like it takes research, the analytics to do that and to maintain a presence on the socials is amazing. So,
and a lot of people use editors too. That's what I didn't know. So a lot of people pay like Upwork and
for
things
podcasts.
like that. Yeah, to get editors for their podcasts and then to switch it over for YouTube. Yeah. So, there's an investment, like you said, talking about like what we're willing to invest. That would have been good to talk about. Yeah. Because
we've been on our own.
Yeah, not everybody, like a real podcast has people who have the functions to set it up. Not real, but what I like.
I was about to say, damn, we ain't a real podcast 3 years. Thanks, Mo.
That's like revenue generating, I guess.
Right.
They have people who are on production team. They have people who are researching. They have those different things. We're doing it all. We do everything ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how that starts. Did those podcasts, I wonder, did they start with all of that on board? Or did they start where we are and then build? Like, I wonder how that goes. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know, like one of my podcasts I listen to is The Read. And I think up to a certain point, they may still be just doing it on their own on Zoom.
Yeah. I think that's another piece that was kind of difficult for us to navigate in the beginning is a lot of podcasts, a lot of people I know who have started podcasts are in person. They're friends. They're able to sit in a room together for 45 minutes and record and have, all their audio set up and everything together and lighting and, create a vibe with all that stuff. And I think that it's really hard when you are literally across the country from somebody and to create a sense of togetherness as far as the sound and just the visuals and creating TikToks and things like that. That's something that we've really struggled with, as well as just kind of learned a lot of different ways to make it work being so far away from each other. So I feel like we're doing okay in that area. Yeah. But that's hard. It's really hard when you're far away.
The consistency. Yeah. We have a whole portfolio.
Dang. Some of it I'm like, dang, I don't know that I need everybody listening to some of these, because some of them we went deep into some dark stuff. We got into some nitty gritty with some race conversations, politics. Like there's some stuff in there that, we share our views. We always speak candidly. And so it's kind of like, I'm proud, but then I'm also like, you don't need to go that far back and listen to the podcast. Just listen to the recent stuff.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to think, like I was saying to myself, what was my favorite episode? And I honestly don't remember. Like, it's just a blur.
Yeah. Favorite episode. I
don't know. Like, I can't think of a favorite episode.
I know like that people really liked the codependency episode. That was a big one for us.
That was the most popular one, I think, to this day.
I learned a lot from that. I didn't even know what codependency was until you shed light on the topic for me.
Ugh, I wish I never knew. Could live in my codependency.
I really do feel like that episode was a turning point for me in the sense that I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand the concept. I just thought that was life. That's just how you live your life. And I feel like it is almost like the Matrix, like someone unplugging you. From that point forward, looking at everything, you're like, oh, this is what's motivating their actions, or this is what's motivating my desire to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And it makes you look at things and reframe things with that lens. And so it is like an awakening. We've talked about that a lot. But it changes everything.
It does. And for me, I feel like it makes, when we talked about community before, it makes you farther from community because you don't have that desire just to be in any old community just because of codependency. And looking at the whys and the reasons behind the things we do, and what are we trying to get out of it, if anything, like what's the objective. I just want to be stupid.
But I think maybe that's why things work, though. I think the more we learn, I don't know, I feel like I heard this somewhere, but the more knowledge you obtain, the more things break down. Like the systems are not created for you to have this independent value. You know what I mean? Like it's meant for you to work interdependent, with other people to get that value. Because that's what's motivating you to continue to work with other people. Otherwise, you don't need anybody. You don't need anything. And so systems break down. So I think that's, I don't know, be interesting. I don't know. I mean, we could talk about that. That could be another topic.
Yeah, I'm down.
But yeah, podcast. I never would have thought. Yeah, I would have never thought to do a podcast.
I did. That's the thing. I would always joke around with everybody. I'd be like, let's start a podcast. And I didn't even really know what it was. I think I just would see Joe Rogan or something. Like, let's start a podcast.
I think that's how this started. I think you said that. And I was like, okay.
Like, you came to me.
Did I?
Because I was always saying it, and you were like, hey, do you still want to start a podcast or something like that?
Yeah, something. Like, how weird. Because I feel like that's such a weird, or maybe I had just started listening because I was new. I was late to podcasts. And I just started listening to it. Maybe that's what it was. But I do remember you saying, oh, let's start a podcast. I remember you saying that. That's funny that it just kind of came together like that.
Because I remember I was listening to Star Talk a decade ago.
You said that is bad. Yeah, but you were always ahead on the tech. You were always ahead. Computers and all that kind of, like, you are always, I feel like you have your pulse on like the new technology always. I don't know what's going on. Chat GPT, I was like, I still don't know what that is. You know what I mean? Like it's you. I learned from you. All that stuff. Because I don't know that. I don't. I live
so what are some topics you were excited about discussing in the future?
I think I do want to have more race conversations. I listened to a podcast. I listened to a podcast. We've taken a break from race, so it's time to bring it back, okay? But I listened to a podcast recently. I sent it to you. I didn't expect you to listen to it. I sent it to Sean, my husband. I didn't expect him to listen to it either, but it has to do with race and taxes. And I was really like taken aback by it. I listened to the With Pod, the Why Is This Happening podcast with Chris Hayes from MSNBC, whatever. I have like a crush on this dude. It's getting out of hand, but I love his mind. Like he's very intelligent and very like just the way he speaks about things is like crazy to me. But he had somebody on, a tax law professor, and she did a lot of research about, because the IRS doesn't keep stats on race, which is weird because they keep stats on everything else, but it shows how Black people pay more in taxes than their white counterparts. And she explains about it. And it's just, I found it interesting. Something is born. Yeah. But it's just, but in a household that makes 100,000, let's say, your white counterpart would mostly be the man at home making 100K, the wife staying at home, not working. Whereas in the Black family, maybe you have two closer earning 50-50 type thing. And the benefit of the marriage, I guess benefit or whatever from taxes benefits the stay-at-home person versus two working individuals, whatever. Anyways, it's an interesting one. We could talk about it, but I think that's interesting. I think just the way that race impacts every detail of life. I mean, we could pick any detail and really just dive deep into it and figure it out, because some of it is shocking, even to people who understand that race impacts every part of your life. So I think more race conversations would be interesting to me. I love our relationship conversations, friendships, romantic relationships, dating. Like I love talking about that stuff. I feel like we bring different perspectives. I'm just rambling right now, but there's a lot that I would like to talk to you about. So
talk to me, girl.
How about you? Anything that you've seen or heard, or, hey, that's interesting?
No, I just want to get more guests. I just want to talk to more guests.
I'm tired of talking to just you.
I just think it's interesting, and also it just allows us to hear different perspectives.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I think that'll be my priority is getting some guests. Once,
Yeah.
you know, after the topics. Doesn't matter, like the topics can vary. You could talk
With
about
the
rocks
guests, yeah.
with the right person. Yeah, it depends on the person.
Please don't talk to me about no rocks. Leave me out of that one.
You're right.
Yeah. Aw. Stones. I call them stones. Gems, crystals. Yeah, that would be cool to have somebody on to talk about crystals and stuff. I want to learn more about that. There are a lot of people. Yeah, we did. That's true.
We were too busy talking about the cootie yachts or whatever. Cootie steams.
The yoni eggs or whatever. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
I just remembered because I was like, wait, we did have someone. Isn't that cool?
I want to go back and just see, like, in the beginning, we just had randos on too. I remember we had my friend Chris from high school on.
Yeah,
that was a good episode. His boo moved with him.
What?
Moved in, yeah. So we could have them on. We could do a check-in.
He booed up. I didn't even know he was booed.
Oh yeah, he had a boo. Remember, he had a boo. Yeah, boo moved.
Shoot.
Boo moved with him. So, so that'd be cool.
Catch up.
Yeah. All kind of stuff. Yeah. We need to revisit. I think I'm going to do that now. We probably should have done that to prep for this episode, but I'm going to go through.
That could be part 2.
Yeah, part 2. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you reach out to Chris, please.
Yes, I will. You know what? I also think this podcast, I keep saying this, it's been 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see the growth, or what's the opposite of growth? I don't know. The way that we've moved through the seasons, through the episodes, the way our viewpoints are, the places we've been in life, like what we are going through at the time, and how it impacted our views and our conversations is really interesting, because it's almost like a time capsule of our friendship, you know, and our conversations and what's going on in the world, how we viewed what's going on in the world, and it's all there. So it's kind of cool.
For me, I was like, I can see my weight journey, like gaining weight.
Stop it. She is pulling her cheeks, y'all.
Not those cheeks. I'm just kidding.
Oh, Lord. 12. Again, you 12. 12 years old.
But yeah, gaining weight, and I think maybe being a little more vulnerable and talking about that would be some topics that would be interesting, because I think people can relate to that.
Vulnerability.
And then, just things that happen in life as you get older that change your bodily composition, your hormones, and all of that stuff. That it's not just overeating, which is definitely a part of it, but you know, there are other factors. So it's just really interesting. And so that's
I've seen a lot of ads for that. What? I don't know if my Facebook is just trying to attack me, but it's like, ooh, like maybe you're not fat because you're fat. You're fat because your hormones. Like I get a lot of those weight loss hormone targeted.
Well, mine,
I'm like, dang.
The timing of mine is on point. It was like around last year. I just started shooting up.
Wow.
In weight.
Yeah, let's put an asterisk by that just to make sure people understand. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea, though, just to track the journey, because we talked about in the beginning that this was going to be a journey, and I think it has definitely been a journey. But just to go from point A and then go through the seasons and just see, hey, like maybe we can revisit some of these conversations we had with a fresh perspective, or with a fresh guest, or the same guest, and see where they have landed on their journey. We could have, our old friend Krista back. I miss her.
I would love that.
Yeah. We had Anason on a little while ago. Yeah, we had that slumber party. Adrielle. Yeah. So, I mean, we've had some great guests. We've met some really awesome people through this podcast experience. Yeah. Makes me happy.
Right? It's fulfilling.
It is. Now when we first started, there was another podcast, similar in the sense that there were 2 women who hosted the podcast together, and they supported us and kind of helped us kind of figure out what we were doing a little bit in the beginning. And they've recently ended their podcast. What do you see for the future of TGSTS? Like, how long are we doing this? How do you feel about it? Where are we?
I don't know. I feel like it's just going to be one day we're just going to be like, we're done. We're done with this. Or
we're just going to be so big, we get a late night talk show on TV.
I would love that.
No. Then we could have bigger guests, bigger budgets,
Panels,
wardrobe, hair,
yes,
makeup,
wardrobe,
whatever, snacks. Oh gosh. Yeah, I don't know.
you
I
know,
guess that's part of the
I'm gonna start
manifesting,
reaching out.
right?
Yes, you got to be specific. So depending on the topics, I'm going to reach out to not just people I know, people I don't know. There are a
Hey.
lot of comedians here. There are a lot of all kind, but musicians,
Yeah.
scientists, everyone
Dang.
here. So
Get you an engineer, somebody. you
right.
find you an engineer. I feel like that's a task, I think, for me. Is in this podcast has kind of helped or at least illustrated the problem I have is just going outside of my immediate comfort zone and seeking out people that could bring different perspectives to the podcast. I feel like that's something I need to work on more. Do people outsource that?
Right now.
Like, is that something that people outsource? We were talking
Finding
about the different things.
yeah.
Yeah. So like
Some people
producing
have
and editing,
like assistants and stuff. Yeah.
that go out and just seek out guests.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, that's what we're gonna do. We got to keep
All
it rolling,
right.
keep it new, keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh. I'm excited to talk more. In my dream world, this would be income generating, and
this is a labor of love so far for us.
I grew up listening to Howard Stern, and I used to love the radio.
Tom Likas. I used to listen to Tom Likas with my dad.
Why did we listen to that? Yeah, I used to listen to that.
Tom
He'd be
Likas.
like, I remember his one piece of advice was when you come to the restaurant, you give them your credit card to pay only for your stuff. And I'm
Lord.
He said, you come early, give them your credit card so you can pay only for your stuff.
Wow. I don't know why my dad. Oh, and I would listen to
K-Rock,
the black talk show, political. He's conservative. He ran for he had a mustache. Why am I forgetting this dude? He was popular in the news not too long ago. He was on talk radio. Why can't I remember?
Did he die?
No. Oh jeez.
Oh geez. Like if I could make money from
this. What was his name? Larry Elder.
Okay.
I used to listen to Larry Elder and Tom Likas. I don't know why my dad listened to them, but that's what I listened to.
Howard Stern.
Mm-hmm.
That was mostly what I listened to. Steve Harvey, the Tom Joyner Morning Show.
Oh no, I don't know about that.
Oh
yeah. My gosh. But this was all radio, so now this is, I guess, podcast. It's the same.
What's the
same
difference?
And different.
I feel like it's the new...
I don't know. It's all no set time. It's just on demand whenever you want to listen to it.
It's the same content, just different. Like we don't have to worry about FCC licenses and all this red tape.
Because we wouldn't have figured that out by now,
right? So this is nice.
Yes. Anyways, yeah. So I just think if you're going to start a podcast, not that we are, the veterans in this area, but maybe take a little time to plan it out, plan the business side, prepare for the business side. It's fun, but there is a lot of work that goes into the background of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
That's all I got, girl. Well, here's to 3 years more, or however long this keeps on rolling.
Yes. I love it. Yay.
Love it.
All right. Bye.